Hello, Brett Slater, Debt Mastery. Today's video is going to be, I've been looking hard about what I want to show you and how I want to educate you on finances and what I did and how I became financially was a few years ago, because I was just like the rest of you, had no idea. I spent all my money on rubbish. Actually, no, I went on a lot of holidays, which I consider education. But anyway, today's video is going to be on the great Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series of books. He's done a whole lot of, not just the Rich Dad, financial IQ, real estate investing. He's got a board game out called Cashflow 101. It's a bit like Monopoly, but more intense. Anyway, I'm watching his video. I'm going to give you a link as usual at the end. It's a TEDx talk that he's got, so it goes for 20 minutes. I started watching it and I realized I should be doing this and filling you guys in on what is going on. Because this is the first book that I ever read, and I hate reading, that changed my life. I realized there are people out there with a lot of money that want to help you change. And want to give you the kind of education that you need to stop blaming the rich people about why they've got all your money. Because pretty much what it comes down to is the reason they've got your money is because you don't give a rat's ass enough to know how to deal with your own money. That's it. They know it. If you want to learn about making money, then you've got to educate yourself and you have to put in some time and effort, like anything else. I know, and that's a catch, right? A lot of people want to talk about money and it's so fucking boring. Like, I can't believe how boring it is. I watch them and I'm getting bored of this shit. Like, dude, why do you talk in some kind of mundane voice? It's about as exciting as watching grass grow. How do we make money sexy and debt? And people talk about debt. Like, it's ridiculous. I know it's virtually impossible. Maybe I'll just have some dancing girls behind me one day. Bikinis. I'm here in Bali, so there's lots of girls in bikinis here. I'll have to go down to Kuta for that. Not too much in Ubud. Everyone's very spiritual. But anyway, back to Robert Kiyosaki. I'm watching his TEDx talk. I've never actually seen it before, which is great. As I go through, I'm going to do a bit of commentary and then I'll cut some stuff in and then I'll give you a link at the end. I've realized, there's so many people over the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, that has really helped me. Actually, my whole life. Whether it's my parents, whether it's I had a rich dad, that I didn't even realize I had a rich dad until later on in life. Anyway, enough of that. Bye now, for now.
Subject, wealth and income inequality are the biggest moral crisis. I'd also say it's a spiritual crisis in America today, all around the world. This gap between the rich and everybody else is reaching critical proportions. And I think one of the biggest crises is the young people. Today's young unemployed become tomorrow's unemployable.
2.5 minutes in, I'm already going to talk about something that he talks about extensively in his books and education, and it's about the younger generation not understanding that they've got to start giving back. They want. It's time to give back. Everyone needs to give. Like, if you're not giving, you're not donating, or you're not spending your time helping somebody for nothing, basically you're full of shit.
So in 2002, I published this book, Rich Dad's Prophecy. 14 years later, the prediction was that 2016, there would be a global financial crash. We're in 2016. And here we are in 2016. You can see it coming. In the first 10 years of this century, we have had 3 major crashes. In 2000 was the dot-com crash, followed by the 2006 real estate subprime crash, and then 2008, the banking crash. The question is this next? This is the giant crash of 1929. And every time I listen to those guys on CNBC, I call it bubble vision, they keep talking about the giant crash of 1929. I tell you what, it doesn't even compare to this one coming,
Alrighty. Okay, so we're only 3 minutes in. And the difference between the crash in 1929 and the crashes that have happened since then. The severity of the gap. We're talking, tens of 1924 crash, which is the biggest crash in history. But are you ready? That's what I'm talking about. Are you ready for the crash? That's why I started reading this book, and that's why I got into money and understanding the system, and why it's literally a load of bullshit. Like, it really is. Money is bullshit. It's all a bunch of lies, like Monopoly. And the video is now about how he hates the normal education system and how it doesn't teach younger children about money and how to make money. It's literally made me really get excited about what he was talking about. You know, I really do believe that we all need to learn a lot more about things in life. Finances is one of them. It rules our lives, and that saying of, you know, money is evil is a load of bullshit. It's a piece of paper. It's a credit card. It's plastic. It hasn't got a thought. It can't be evil. So back to him for his TED Talk.
So she says, go ask your dad. So that's where Rich Dad, Poor Dad started. And my poor dad was the head of education for Hawaii, very smart man, PhD, went to Stanford, University of Chicago, Northwestern. And I went home and I asked Dad, I said, hey, Dad, when are we going to learn about money? And he says, never. I said, why not? He said, the government doesn't allow us to teach you that. I said, that's kind of interesting. So he said, if you want to get rich, go talk to your best friend's father. And he's an entrepreneur, and someday he'll be a very rich man. So that's how the story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad starts. When I was 9 years old, I went to my rich dad's office, being an entrepreneur, and he started teaching his son and me about why the rich get richer. And that's my financial education began.
Now this book, honestly, it took me 6 months to read. And the reason it took me 6 months is because I'm dyslexic and I hate reading. It's one of those painful things for me. Found audiobooks now, which makes life much easier. But I think I read the first chapter, I put it down for a month. I read the second chapter, and then I put it down for 2 months, and I read the third chapter and I put it down for another month. But by the time I decided, it was probably 6 months later, by the time I finished it, and my mind was blown away. I didn't realise, you know, the kind of guy that he was and what he was actually trying to teach. And he decided to make a conscious decision, not just to make money, but to make sure that everyone else knows how to make money. First big business, which a lot of you younger generation won't know about, but the Surfer wallet. It was a Velcro wallet. Used to rip it open, like I've had many as a kid.
Back, that's when my business career started. It's my first business, the Surfer wallet business and all this. And everybody thinks, yeah, when you start getting successful, life's easy. Well, no, success is expensive. You know, I started selling these silly wallets, and all of a sudden they took off. And I spent more time raising capital to buy more inventory so I could sell more. But it was a great learning experience. I learned to make a lot of money selling wallets. But anyway.
Okay, so this is another important lesson. And it's about finding somebody that can help you do whatever you need to do. Like, you need to find that person that you want to follow, the mentor that you believe in. And he's done it just like everyone else. Like, you know, there's no such thing as an entrepreneur that's by himself. I'm sitting, but I've got a great mate here who helps build my website. Hello, Alex.
Good afternoon, Master Brett.
And been to seminars and by other people, because you've got to do it. If you think you can do it by yourself, again, forget about it. Get it out of your head. Start finding somebody to follow. And get on with it.
My life changed when I met this man here, Dr. R. Buckminster Fuller. This here is what Fuller is noted for. He's considered a futurist and a friendly genius. So anyway, but in 1981, I had a chance to study with him up in Kirkwood, California, near Lake Tahoe for 5 days. And I made the mistake of sitting down he sat down next to me, really. And it was called the Future of Business Seminar. And he sits down next to me. He says, Robert, what is your life's purpose? What is your mission in life? I said, oh, to get rich. Wrong answer. And finally, I got it. As he says, you know, I'm not here to work for me. I'm here to work for everybody else. In 1983, and then he passed away on July 1st, 1983. He left this book behind. It's called The Grunch of Giants. It stands for Gross Universal Cash Sites, Grunch. It's how the ultra-rich rip us off. Now, Fuller is a friendly genius. He never wrote finance books or economic books. He's math, science, art, design. He's an architect. I read Grunch of Giants and understood it because it's exactly what my rich dad was telling me. The rich are ripping us off.
Okay, so, like, I'm learning something. I've never heard of this either. And it's a book, the Grunch of Giants. I'll put a link at Amazon so you can go and buy it. It is part of his education. He's Bucky Fuller. He's the guy who was the author, and it was one of Richard Kiyosaki's best mentors. I'm only just finding this out now, and I've been following him for years. Education, you've just got to keep going.
So my financial education began with a game of Monopoly. You know, we all know the formula: 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So when I was 9 years old till I was about 20, Rich Dad and I and son would play Monopoly. And that's how I learned to become a rich man. So the reason it works is this is the cone of learning. It was created by a man named Professor Edgar Dale. And in 1969, he came up with the cone of learning, and he said, this is how human beings are designed to learn. Notice the worst way to learn is by reading.
Wow, I have forgotten all about this. It's called the cone of learning. In this part of the the TEDx talk, he really gets excited because it's about something that I'd forgotten all about. And it's a cone of learning, and at the bottom is reading. It's the worst way to learn. I love it. No wonder I've done so well. I hated reading. You know, what he did was he realized that he needed to teach people how to make money, so he was able to help the world and not just be a rich prick. That's pretty much what it came down to. He realized if he was going to go down the road of making lots of money and never helping anyone, he was just going to be like those people that he hated. This is how he did it, and that's why I love it. So I'm just trying to think about what I'm going to close with, because he literally, you know, he sums it up with, you know, you've got to learn to change your words to change your life. So if you're you know, using phrases like I can't afford this, it's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're meant to be just saying, how can I afford it? How can I figure this out? I have a problem. Figure the problem out. This was another one of those moments in the book that I really understood, and I got it. I just went, of course, you know, like.
It's kind of funny, you know, really. So the power of words, financial literacy begins with words, because words affect your brain. As my poor dad always said, I can't afford it. You know, in Sunday school I learned the word becomes flesh. Every time you say you can't afford it, you say, I'm poor, I'm a loser, I can't do something, I'm helpless. The government should take care of me. Most important words in money are basic. There's only 4: assets, liabilities, cash flow. That's it. That's where financial literacy starts. Assets, liabilities, and cash flow. You understand those 4 words basically, then you can build your vocabulary. Money has a language, but it's not taught in school.
So, I hope that was helpful. I will put all the links up. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of hoo-ha bullshit. Because I really want to try and help as many people as I can, because this is what life is about. It's not just about making money, it's about helping people. Bye now.